forget that Dolly Parton chose to not be a billionaire. Because she could have. Dolly Parton made so much money, she could have let her money make money. But instead, she chose to reinvest in people and her community. And today, when I went to my mailbox on the day she died, there was proof of that sitting right there waiting for me. It was this book right here, Forts, from the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. Since the day my son has been born, once a month, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, in partnership with local nonprofits, has mailed my son, like millions of American kids across America, a book for his parents to read to him, to foster a love of reading and literacy and dreams and wonder. And when my son gets home, we'll unwrap this and we'll read it. But she sent many books to us. She sent this book. It's called A Little Emotional. Because again, Dolly Parton spent millions of dollars making sure that kids were not illiterate. She wanted to make sure that kids knew how to read, how they could understand the world around them, and that they could understand how to process their emotions. This is what she spent her money on instead of buying Twitter. She sent the animal song to my son instead of trying to buy an election. She sent little poems for tiny ears instead of trying to spread misinformation about fucking vaccines. She sent dandelion magic to our front door instead of villainizing fucking trans people. J.K. Rowling. She sent chaos for kindness instead of trying to go and harp even more on dividing us as a people. She sent Llama Llama meets the babysitter instead of going and reinvesting in Palantir. She sent the big slide instead of making sure we slid into fascism. She said, how we say I love you instead of making us hate each other. She said, let's explore the seashore instead of buying flock cameras. She said, don't lose Mr. Cuddles, a book all about loss and how to get around and over these feelings through your family. She sent birding.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Here's the fucking thing.
Look, here's the thing.
Hey. Okay.
It's the ever-loving blue-eyed thing. It's clobbering time.
Just want to add a little bit of zip.
What up, y'all? Am I audible? Let me know if you can fucking hear me, please. Welcome to kind of a showcast, I guess. You know, it's Wednesday. I always feel the obligation to call it that in case any of the showcast people who, you know, we kind of have this open door policy for whenever somebody's available, they're welcome to jump on the show. So somebody might, or it might just be me and you. Just you. Literally one person in the audience and me. That's it. No, just kidding. You got a few over here. A couple different channels going right now. So, you know, the total that you see on the channel you're watching is not the total in totality. Chuds who love to show up. I mean, look, there's not a lot of people watching right now, I'll be honest. This is a weird stream. I had it planned for several hours ago, and then I noticed that Bob Chaos had his stream set for 1 hour after I planned to start this one. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to try and fucking, you know, create a conflict of interest there, or, you know, scheduling rather. So I'm just going to wait, give him 2 hours. He doesn't normally go longer than that, and then I'll start at 8. And so that's what I'm doing, starting at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I know for many of you it's later. But we're going to talk about a couple of things. First and foremost, Mark Ruffalo. He sure is a virulent bigot anti-Semite. You know? Let's see. Make sure it can still be heard here. Are people hearing me? Are you hearing me? Or are you having a one-sided conversation in chat? Cool. So, Yanru, I feel like you tend to do this thing, and I actually saw you doing it on another stream after my stream. I think it was on Ant's stream after I was streaming like last week, and you were in chat doing it, and then you go over to Ant's stream and you do it. It's kind of like you just show up to kind of be a bummer. I don't know if that's intentional or not, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's kind of what I saw, is just like a general kind of like, I'm going to piss on everybody's, whatever somebody's saying, I'm going to take a shit on it. Because I don't know what you're talking about. The Imagination Library thing, you say it probably has had some insane returns for the state. Like a program that causes advantages in cognitive capacity and reading capacity in kids at such an early age probably has a very large return to the state. Oh, I see. No, you're actually being positive there. My bad. I apologize. You're being positive there. I thought you were trying to be like, well, the downside to Dolly Parton's free books thing or whatever. It's like, come on. Yeah, so Dolly Parton, man, let's get that. Talk about that. Can they, and I'm kind of speaking what Morgan had said in Discord, and she hasn't been able to speak it on stream yet, but I'm gonna say it. I just remember I'm basically quoting her. Can they please take an 80-year-old that deserves to be taken? Because we had Dolly, we had who's the other one? Fuck, it's slipping my mind. I feel terrible now. Somebody just died. Another person, 80 years old, something like that. Yeah, and it's just like, man, we've got this guy in the White House right now who basically is dead. I mean, and that's kind of just talking a little shit. I'm sorry, Secret Service and FBI. I'm not actually talking about harming the man who is technically president. Tim Kerr, thank you. That was it. It reminds me of you guys remember in 2015, 2016, whenever it was like Carrie Fisher, David Bowie, uh, Prince. It was like several people in a very short amount of time just gone. To the point where it was so notable that a Perfect Circle has a song called "So Long and Thanks for All the Fish," which is a reference to, I'm sure many of you know, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But the song's called "So Long and Thanks for All the Fish," and it's basically the premise is, it says that Ali and Leia. So yeah, I was also talking about Muhammad Ali. Ali and Leia have moved on, Bowie and blah, blah, blah. It's basically saying, all the good people are gone now. So, like, we're kind of just waiting for this time to run out on this fucking clock. A little bit cynical, a little bit romantic at the same time. But, like, it was an expression of appreciating those celebrities and they are gone. And it kind of feels like that's kind of happening a bit now again. But it could just be that my perception of time is, like everybody else, is flawed because time is not a real thing. And our brains are not really good timekeepers, and so we notice patterns, and then we make them feel like it means something when it doesn't. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'll tell you who did die. That it's not good. These folks right here. So far, 18 service people in Trump's complete, like, less than pointless war. Just completely nothing for it. There's no fucking reason for it to be happening. And these people have died. So, it's supposed to be a couple weeks long too. Remember that? Yikes. I'm not a big military guy. I don't sing its praises. I don't just automatically have reverence for anybody that's wearing a uniform. You know what I mean? You still have to prove to me as you're a decent human before I give a shit. But, these people didn't need to die. They didn't. Anyways. How's this background looking? Because I hung a... Yeah, cool. All right. That's fair. That's good enough. Okay, so talk about Mark Ruffalo, but before we do that, let's pivot a little bit in the MCU to another actor who we don't hear from her much. She's not really a good person. You might not realize that, but this is Gwyneth Paltrow.
I notice with my own husband too, who's the best person ever in the world. He's so progressive. Like, he has such a sweet heart and he wants to, like, make sure everybody's looked after. I'm pretty centrist and my husband thinks I'm a Republican, which I'm not a Republican. I mean, I don't feel anything right now, to be totally honest with you. I feel like I'm completely an independent.
That is Gwyneth Paltrow. If you were thinking the whole, I feel...
She's like, I shoved too many jade eggs into my vagina and I don't feel anything anymore. In my vagina or my head. I don't know. Like, what? This was, as the guy says here in a second, like, this was just not long ago. This is like in June she said this. Like, bro, you don't feel anything for things that are going on in the world. Even if you feel something crazy right wing, feel something. But, like, maybe she's just, post feelings. I don't know. And I agree, no human deserves to die. That's true. Charlie Kirk, it's been a year since he died almost. He did not deserve to die. True facts. That's not the same thing as saying that the world is worse off without him. I don't believe it is. But he didn't deserve to die.
Nothing sort of jargon was years ago. No, it was 2 months ago. I guess I'm just curious. Would a non-Republican say they feel nothing?
She's Pepper Potts. She's Pepper Potts. She's from she got her made her name by being in I believe it's Shakespeare in Love in the late or mid late 90s, and then she went on to be in a bunch of awards bait crap until she eventually was chosen to be Pepper Potts, which I think she does a very good job in the role. I mean, honestly, kind of can't see anybody else as her, but they use her just the right amount, which is almost none at all. White Lotus. Yeah. I only saw the first 2 seasons of White Lotus.
Thing. When this happened, I mean, how could you really say?
Bro, why is everybody telling me this all the time now? Like, everybody else says it's fine, so it's got to be you, Noah. It's got to be you. It's you. Or I was not speaking very loud. But, so there's that. She's a piece of shit, man. She's saying this kind of stuff. Like, it's one thing to not have any strong feelings about the crazy, like, it's not understandable, but I can see being a rich, disconnected celebrity, how you wouldn't be as tapped into the daily goings on of what's going on with, ICE and protests and stuff like that. I mean, I think you're kind of a shithead for wasting a privilege that you have. But it's one thing to just not have that kind of connection to where you don't have strong feelings on something, but to literally say it while joking about it, that like I'm basically a Republican. I don't have any feelings about anything. Like, oh no, you're not a Republican. You're a sociopath, dude. Um, yeah, wow. So, all right, we got to talk about Mark Ruffalo. Is anybody aware of what's been going on with this man? So we're done disappointing you as far as the heroes and the MCU go. Okay, Gwyneth Paltrow, she's not even really a hero. She got to wear that armor one time in Endgame, whatever. But Royal Tenenbaums, yeah, it's a good one. Okay, Mark Ruffalo, if you're not aware, is based as fuck, as the kids say. He's been ahead of the curve for a long time. He's one of these guys that a decade ago, I would have thought, if I would have seen him talking about his politics, I would have thought, man, this guy's fucking annoying. And now I'm like, I should have listened to him. He was right. This is a guy who wasn't waiting until October 7th and the response to October 7th to talk about genocide. He actually got a lot of shit for saying genocide in like 2021 regarding Gaza. You know what I mean? He said genocide regarding Gaza 2021, and a lot of people got, whoa, you can't say the G word like that. He actually, I think, apologized for it. That's how different things were back then. He was like, okay, and he apologized. He's not apologizing now. He is he's coming out strong against the attempted merger by the Ellisons and Paramount buying up and gobbling up and merging with and mating with, becoming a homunculus of corporations with Warner Brothers. He's really against that, and he's brought a very good point that has not been discussed widely at all. That it's not just bad for the movie industry. That's obvious. It is. It's not just going to be create a bunch of. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad for news media because they own CNN as well as what they would own that shit. It would be bad in a lot of ways. But what he's pointing out now is that it would also be bad in the context of, the state of Israel, its authoritarian tendencies, and their genocide against Gazan people, Palestinian people. And then, yeah, because Larry Ellison is a straight up Zionist, he's full force on that shit. So he criticized that. He pointed some stuff out, and we'll look at what he said in a minute. But then, I know I saw Tim Curry died too. Yeah, fuck. My girlfriend just stuck her hand in the phone, hand in the door with her phone, and it's just Tim Curry. Were you listening to? Is that why? Never mind. She's gone. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, so he said some shit about that, and then the Ellisons, Paramount, they are so fucking, they're on the back foot, man. Like, it really is crazy. It really is crazy when when you think about the shift in perspective of the mainstream when it comes to Israel and Gaza in 5 years, 4 years, or whatever it is, 3 years, it's crazy. I remember when the shit happened, when October 7th happened, and we had a FAPcast to do that day. And we were already planning on kind of talking about something related to Israel or something. And like I was like, we need to address this, you know what I mean? But we knew what was coming, essentially. We knew that, you know, whatever happened on October 7th, whatever Hamas was responsible for, you know, which they were responsible for some shit, and it's not forgivable, it's not fucking forgettable, it's not cool, it's not good. None of it. There's also been some lies told about what happened on the day too. Nonetheless, we knew that the response was about to be pretty bad. Yeah, I was so nervous talking about that shit then. I was so fucking nervous because it's like, in my mind, I think a lot of people's, to say that you're concerned about Palestinian people dying in Gaza is essentially saying that, you know, then it was like, oh, you just hate Jews then, which I do not, you know. And the shift has been pretty remarkable. It's been, you know, one of the only highlights of the last few years, as far as, you know, obviously not a highlight in general, but it is a brighter sign on the road of some dark shit going on. Is that okay? At least there's that, you know. At least most people are coming around and seeing that for what it is, right? Nonetheless, they're doing so badly in the public perception market, talking about Zionists. They decided that what they were going to do is just come back at Bruce Banner here, the Hulk, and call him an anti-Semite for the things he said. Oh yeah, I mean they've just done a terrible job of everything. I mean, like there's no spinning it. There's no spinning one of the largest media companies buying up the one of the other 2 or 3 largest media companies that are left. It's pretty fucking brazen. It's pretty disgusting. I mean, he's already got TikTok. That's why he bought TikTok, is because, but if that tells you anything, this is how invested Ellison is in the genocide. Because TikTok was the thing that was showing people the genocide for the first time. TikTok was where people were posting, you know, video of children and people, families, and all the just awful shit happening. That's where so many people saw, oh my God, this is happening. And not only that, I'm paying for this to happen, right? I voted for this to happen, essentially. And that started rattling some fucking cages, as it should have. And you know, I don't know if you remember, there was that one lady, I think she worked for the Obama administration, but she was doing some speech or whatever after this was going on, and she was talking about how, like, it's just, you know, it's just because these kids are seeing this stuff on TikTok, and if they just weren't seeing this stuff on TikTok, they wouldn't be so against Israel. And it's like, no, if you weren't doing the stuff that's being shown on, like, it's not that just that they're seeing, like, you should just start saying it out loud, that like, oh, we have to stop them from seeing the genocide that we're doing, and then it'll be okay. And it's like fucking tone deaf as shit. Anyway, so Ellison bought TikTok, almost certainly in coordination, or at least at the behest of, or whatever, with Trump and his people. It's pretty clear, you know. I'm pretty sure the administration had something to do with that. I don't remember what the details were, but nonetheless, that's how badly he wants the genocide to happen, and he wants people to not, you know, just kind of not talk about it, not know about it, just sit over here and watch all of the news media and media that he owns, while he takes our data with his Oracle fucking company that was originally was CIA thing, by the way, Oracle. And then yeah, we just keep our mouths shut and don't know about it, and everything will be fine, guys. Just, you know, wave to the flock cameras, put the genocide out of your mind. Don't worry about that word. It doesn't mean anything anymore. It never really did. Okay. Only thing you need to worry about is the Holocaust. That's a real one. It is, actually. It is a real one. I'm not trying to imply it's not. I'm just trying to say that to Zionists, the only genocide they want you to know about, and they want you to think about it a lot, is the Holocaust. Anyways. So here's this clip. I'm going to find a more current video, but this is actually kind of addressing it.
The time. That people forget Israel bombed Gaza in 2021. It was a much briefer issue. And you said the G word back then. genocide.
Yes.
People went nuts.
They went nuts.
And you came out and apologized and said the language was not right. Today, I assume you don't recoil from the G word.
Not at all. This is absolutely a genocide.
Yeah.
We have we have
The consensus
we have the
of the
majority
scholars.
of scholars.
Yeah.
Who,
Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, all of them.
But B'Tselem.
Yep.
B'Tselem within Israel.
Genocide.
Probably, yes, genocide.
But people still throw the anti-Semitic label around, even now, just to completely empty it all
It's
meaning.
the Hasbara. It's part of that system of oppressing.
Hasbara is the Israeli word for propaganda, by the way.
Oppressing thought, oppressing free speech, oppressing the need to know, oppressing knowledge. That is a system that's been developed by Israel. And not just Israel, but enablers. And I understand why. I understand why. I mean, I understand this need after coming out of the Holocaust to protect yourself, you know? I understand it, okay? But you can't steal another people's nation from them.
Unless you have great propaganda like a land without a people for a people without a land.
And expect that to go well. That's like planting a seed of hatred and deceit and expecting it to flower with oranges.
It's not going to happen.
It's just not going to happen. And what's that Zola quote? And if you take the truth and you bury it, put it in a box and bury it in the ground, it can't help but explode one day.
It's exploding right now.
It's exploding.
Do you feel hopeful? I mean, people are dying in huge numbers. It's
How
horrific.
can you feel hopeful?
But that's my question
I'm
to you.
not feeling hopeful. It's heartbreaking, man. And why people have signed that thing now? Someone called me yesterday. He's like, "Did you see that the Israelis' response to this, and how it's going to hurt, and how filmmaking should transcend this?" I was like, 100%, man. But we are in drastic times. This is a genocide. Okay?
Child killed
this
every
is
hour.
a famine, a genocide, ethnic cleansing, human immigration. I mean, they're pushing people off their land. This is do or die now.
Yeah, that clip went on longer than I thought it did. I hadn't watched all of it, so that's good shit. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to correspond with folks who earlier I had expressed interest in being on the stream, and then I had to delay it to later, and I'm an asshole because I didn't update them verbally to tell them that I was doing that. Because I'm an asshole. No, it's because I was taking care of my family and things like that. Anyway, no kidding, dude. Like, I mean, look, this isn't the first time that he's said stuff. I mean, like, he's said some shit that if Disney was, you know, if Marvel, Disney were really fucking sticklers over stuff, like, they would have already fired him. Not to say that it's not possible they might not do it now. They might, who knows? But he said some stuff before. I forgot to finish up on this Gwyneth Paltrow video. The thing that really was shocking about it, by the way, I think it had just gotten there. She hosted a dinner for
Nothing. When this happened, I mean, how could you really say that you are not a Republican when you are hosting a dinner for Sam fucking Altman? Would you really say that you feel nothing when you are platforming AI defense manufacturers? You know, like Trey Stevens, formerly of Palantir, Peter Thiel's Palantir. And this is what your podcast has turned into now, manufacturing consent for drone warfare. Mother Jones would even recap from the Stevens conversation. Warmongering can be good, Stevens would interpret from Paltrow, if only done with a pure heart and without againstness. quote. And so if you're approaching it with a heart of peace, I think it's very difficult on a mystical level than approaching it with a heart at war. You are fucking dumb. And just curious while we're at it, do we think during a G-side this was the right call? Do you think this was really the way that we should go about things? As parody account Saint Hoax put it, the goopification of settler colonialism. From Jezebel, they even ask, is Paltrow's lifestyle and wellness company Goop pivoting to AI defense and surveillance manufacturing? It sure as hell seems so, because number one, it appears that they are losing money. She is going to host these people who are venture capitalists and try to get money. Secondly, this overlap between health and wellness and the Maha movement going into just flat out fascism is rather peculiar and also very interesting to study, because these are the same people who said that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was put in this position to help make our foods healthier and safer, and look at where we are at now. Those same people have been duped, or they loved it all along.
Yes. They've been gooped. So there's her. She's a piece of shit. Obviously. So this just happened, I guess. I haven't watched this yet, but I saw it, and we'll find out together what's going on.
We have a crisis that's causing our fertility rate to drop below 1.5.
Was that real? Holy shit. Was that...
We have a crisis that's causing our fertility rate to drop below 1.5.
Can anybody confirm or deny if that was a real thing? By the way, I just finished editing a thing that I wanted to share before we really get into the discussion, I suppose. This was, I was so impressed with Eric DeBunk's whole thing the other day with his drinker video that I said, you know what, I'm going to chop that down into a little bit of a goodness, a little good, bite-sized little thing. And so I did. If I can find it. Here we go. Dude, I've had some farts that, I'm sorry, but, sometimes they just sound kind of cartoonish. I don't know what to tell you.
On a purely surface level, there's definitely some fun to be had with Oak Street, even if it's shit you've seen about a dozen times already. Dinosaurs running loose and eating people isn't exactly cutting-edge storytelling in 2026, but some of...
But you praise Primitive War for doing it. You praise that movie for doing it. You were acting like it was the best thing you'd seen. Such a cool concept. But I guess this movie, dinosaurs running after people, chasing them and eating them, it's not great anymore in 2026. Interesting how that works.
Also, they've gone...
I don't think this is true at all. Global fertility rates are not like a problem. Usually, honestly, when people talk about that, I think they're talking about white people, generally speaking.
For a more modern take on the dinosaurs themselves, complete with feathers and fur, which I guess is more scientifically accurate, but as a child of Jurassic Park, I simply refuse to accept it. Also, it's nice to see dinosaurs accurately depicted on screen for once, feathers and all. The dinosaurs are much more accurate to the real thing, where they've got feathers. The raptors are like the actual size that raptors would be. They're not like these 10-foot tall monsters. They're just like... They're small and agile, and they can overwhelm you in large numbers, but that's it, and that's enough. And it's I think a lot of the dinosaur people out there who are passionate about that stuff will really appreciate that kind of attention to detail. They've gone for a more modern take on the dinosaurs themselves, complete with feathers and fur, which I guess is more scientifically accurate, but as a child of Jurassic Park, I simply refuse to accept it. I want giant lizards, goddammit.
I'm always the liar! I'm always at fault!
I'm the betrayer. I'm the double crosser. I'm always the freaking scumbag in this situation.
Anyone else get the feeling they're not being told the full story here?
That is such a perfect distillation example of what the drinker is about. So, okay. He is, I mean, he's just he's completely willing to say whatever he needs to say at any given moment. That's so nakedly clear there that he doesn't believe in anything. At least if he does, he doesn't, he's not consistent about it on the internet. It's crazy. Okay. Yeah, 8 billion plus and growing, man. We still got more people coming all the time. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna hold off on the Mark Ruffalo thing because I still need to find a video that I thought I downloaded and I didn't or don't have it. But first, I've introduced you guys to Slam Begad, I believe already. He's got a couple thousand subscribers already. You can go subscribe to him. He makes pretty good edits that kind of just expose some of these chuds for being chuddy. In particular, this one is a very it's got to be Nerdrotic's dumbest take. I agree with him. He named his video this. It's only like a 3-minute video. That's all it takes. He said this is Nerdrotic's dumbest take. I was listening to it. I was like, I don't know. Maybe I've heard him say dumber, but the more I've thought about it, let's see if you agree with me. This is pretty fucking stupid.
They point that out and they're so ill-informed. Talking about content creators here. It's just fun to poke that.
I showed this clip so Nerdrotic's fans know that Gary endorses what I'm going to do in this video.
Okay, especially when it gets to the arts. Like, you need to go to... It's good to train to fix a car. It's good to train to fix a human, be a doctor. But we're talking about arts degrees. They're fucking useless. They're
All right, yeah, I was muted. Sorry about that. So for him to say that okay, like, yes, it's true that getting an art degree is not going to get you a great job where you can support yourself for a long period of time and have, benefits and retirement and all that. That's probably not going to happen with an art degree, especially these days. But as he goes on to say here, he says that there is no practical benefit to getting an art degree, to getting a filmmaking degree. He says that there's no reason to get a filmmaking degree. That you don't learn anything, and that you just regurgitate opinions, is what he says. That is so. I'm not muted. I'm not muted anymore. What are you talking about? Why are you saying that? I'm literally not muted anymore. Come on, catch up. Are you watching the stream late? You probably are. I mean, you're behind, rather. So, like, no fucking all right, just listen to what he says.
Useless. The most useless thing in the world. You're just regurgitating information from a guy or girl who thinks exactly like you. So you're not fact checking anything. You're just agree checking. You're just regurgitating the same shit you would have regurgitated anyway. You just regurgitated like the person before. That's it.
If someone wants to...
So this is such a, this is the same kind of person that thinks that AI art is just as legitimate as human art, right? Because it's just all art. It doesn't matter, right? They don't understand that there is a skill that goes into it. Do you think that Gary's making that argument? I don't think he is. He's saying there's no... So if you go to school to be an artist, like let's say you're going to be a penciler, a draft, like you're going to learn techniques. There are literal techniques that you learn that are tools that you can build on with your own style. It's not like you just go in there and they go, all right, just use your soul and paint your heart and stuff like that. No, You have to learn things. There are literal fucking techniques, history, theory. Music theory is one of them. I mean, now music theory is rooted in white supremacy. That's true, because anytime you learn music theory, they don't call it. What it really is just a couple of hundred years of German, classical, music that we have decided to call the basis of music theory. But uh, there are things to learn that you can build onto with your subjectivity, your personal styles and interests and things like that. It's so fucking, but especially filmmaking, There's so many. Like, think about the credits of a movie. Think about the credits rolling by. Not talking about a Marvel movie, because a lot of those credits are just like VFX artists, but your average movie that's not a big, summer blockbuster or whatever with special effects. Still, all of those fucking lines of those words and those the people that are credited there, that's a hyper specific skill that you learn in filmmaking class and on the job making films. You have to know how to, like, do you know what signal path is? If you don't know the term signal path, that's okay. You're probably not trying to get a job working in music or video recording or running any kind of productions like that. That's fine. But it is literally something that is, you have to understand how it works in order to do any number of jobs properly. So it's just goddamn stupid.
To be a doctor, does that mean they think like the last doctor, or can they think for themselves? I'm pretty sure mechanics and doctors are regurgitating things too, but that's good, isn't it? I mean, I want those trained people to repeat the things that work, and of course it gets updated as needed. My stepdad fixed cars and he did multiple courses over the years updating his knowledge so he could regurgitate the things that worked.
Can you imagine, imagine this guy must be sitting there watching movies thinking, it kind of makes sense that he's so cynical, really, because when I watch movies or shows, if something is done well, I'm generally just kind of in awe of the people that do it, right? The same thing with music. I gravitate to the art made by people that I'm like, how do you do this, you fucking wizard? That's the kind of vibe I get. And like, musically, I have gone on to try to emulate and learn the skills and techniques of those people that I once thought were just magical wizards that had descended from heaven. Like Tool or whatever. Like, I understand how to play Tool songs now. I understand a lot of the techniques with guitar and stuff that they do to make the sounds that I like and things like that. I've demystified it quite a bit, but like even whenever it was still mystified for me, I appreciated it on like this just fucking aura level, right? But like somebody like Nerdrotic or somebody drinker, they're just sitting there watching, going, "Oh, I've seen this kind of thing before, kinda or whatever." Like, I don't know, they just don't appreciate what the fuck they're seeing. I guess it's crazy.
Now apply this to an arts degree. Do all the people with an arts degree make the same art?
I don't think so.
Because being educated in a specific area just gives you tools to be creative, that's all.
There's no practical learning in it whatsoever. As far as film degrees.
Students begin the program by learning filmmaking fundamentals. Courses in production provide...
So I have not gone to film school, but I did have a good friend who was in film school a few years ago, and I worked on a couple of projects with him. I worked on a couple of documentaries that he did for class. One of them was shortly after all of the scooters got dropped into Portland. The all the little pay to ride the scooters around town, the annoying ones. We did a little documentary about that. We went around talking to people, got information, stuff like that. But just the amount of different tasks that you have to do in that context, to think it's just going in there and vibing it out until you have a product is fucking crazy.
Individual and group filmmaking experiences and opportunity to learn all aspects of filmmaking in a collaborative environment. But according to Gary,
there's no practical learning in it whatsoever.
Whatever you say, boss.
So learning every aspect of filmmaking if you want to be a filmmaker is not practical.
Well, you sound like a moron.
I mean, it's just a silly thing to say because it's literally gibberish. And here's a bunch of great filmmakers that have some kind of art degree. Shane Black, Edgar Wright, Charlie Kaufman, Roger Rodriguez, David Cronenberg, George Lucas, Martin Scorsese, Francis Coppola, Robert Zemeckis. But I suppose Gary thinks all those great filmmakers are hacks who didn't learn anything practical.
I'm admittedly a complete Zemeckis fan. I like everything he does. Martin Scorsese and now Francis Ford Coppola, while I respect both of those creators a lot.
You think their film degrees are fucking useless and taught them nothing practical about filmmaking.
Robert Rodriguez, part of Grindhouse, I thought it was freaking excellent.
I like David Cronenberg.
I'm not pretending this is some sort of
own on Gary.
I'm merely pointing out that a film
You should slam Big Ad because this is an own on Gary. It's a self-own because that's generally the ones that he likes to put out there for us. But
degree does teach practical things, and Gary loves many filmmakers who have art degrees who put them to good use.
I don't care.
Because Gary reviews films for a living, he should probably have a cursory understanding of the things related to films, because when he's dishonest about film degrees, some people might think it's a narrative or something.
But as I said before, if we're not being honest, it's just another narrative.
that's true. He's right. It is just another narrative. So there's that. What a piece of shit. Also, Nerdrotic is not doing well financially. You can look at his metrics, compare them to year over year. Let's see what I got here. Like, he's still getting views. I don't want anybody in his fucking audience. His audience is so dumb, they're going to show up saying, oh, well, he gets more views than you. Yep. That's not what I'm saying, man. You know? It's not what I'm saying. My analysis of his metrics have nothing to do with my metrics. Oh, shit. It is later than I expected it to be. So, for example, he has... Here we go. Year-over-year performance comparison. So he had, in 2025, a year ago, he had 1.15 million subscribers. Now he's got 1.29 million subscribers. That's up around 12%. Okay? But he's gone from making upwards of $10,000 a month, apparently, to not quite $10,000. A good, couple $100 less, fewer. So on average, he was earning last year $440 or so. Now it's nearly halved. It's just almost halved his income. Now he has his coffee, dropship coffee thing that he does. I don't know how well that does for him. I don't know. He also just released a book that I guess he's making money off of or whatever. But the fact is that these guys are not forever. If Gary and Will Jordan can see their metrics fall like this, which Will's are as well, they're the tip of the shit. I was gonna say spear, but they're just the tip of the turd, right? If they're not doing well, nobody's doing well, and if they're not doing well and they're still not bouncing back yet, they're just kind of eking by. Nerdrotic has completely changed how he makes content, for one thing. Drinker still makes the same general content that he has, but Gary exclusively live streamed. I'd seen that he talked about he was going to be doing a video again, or going back to making videos, but I don't know if that's happened. Let's just hope that he continues sucking. You know who else sucks? Maybe more so than Gary, probably. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say more than Gary.
Didn't teach you in self-defense? Here's a little move. When I grab you by your neck and you start annoying me trying to resist, and I just and then I grab you by your neck again. Then what the fuck are you gonna do when your face is collapsed and your fucking cheekbone's broken? You ain't gonna do shit but cry.
I guarantee I changed the way you look at sex forever. You're gonna be fucking crying. I won't cry. I bet you cry, bitch. I bet you fucking cry. You're saying I wouldn't cry. You're challenging me to a fight. You're saying I can't hurt you. You're out of your fucking mind?
Then grip her up by the neck. Like, shut up, bitch!
Are you seriously so offended I strangled you a little bit? You didn't
and pass out.
Choke her so she can barely fucking breathe. Tell her she's yours forever.
Romanian prosecutors say they have testimony from a woman who alleges she was strangled by Andrew Tate during sex.
And then he grabbed me by my neck.
And he put his hands around my throat and started strangling me, kind of like crushing my windpipe.
He was strangling me like so hard. I couldn't breathe.
Over and over and over, women, by my count, I believe over 10, spanning over a decade across multiple continents, women that have never met each other, some women that don't even speak the same language, who all allege a similar pattern of abuse where Andrew Tate, specifically, they claim that Andrew Tate strangled them. Some of them even to the point of being unconscious while they're having sex.
Hold up. So you are looking at this all fucked up and wrong, man. The women, in some cases, almost in pretty much every case, were troubled, very young. Some of them legal, some of them not young. Girls and women who had problems at home, almost certainly. And he used what's called the lover boy method of creating essentially sex trafficking slaves for himself where he would also abuse and stuff like that. He would do that by talking to a girl online, messaging some girl he found on social media, woman, whatever, and message them and essentially start telling them all the things that an insecure young woman, a lot of times men too, same thing, work on them, need to hear, feel they should hear, that makes them feel valid, makes them feel seen, and makes them feel loved because they don't yet understand what love actually is. And so that's what's called the lover boy method. Is he would essentially prey on people who didn't know any better. And I'm not saying this is like I've analyzed his shit and like, oh, this is what I think he was doing. This is not based on solely based on the charges that have been. This is how he has described it many times. Okay, he's not even minced words about it. And then he would have that person flown to, once he was in Romania, he would have somebody flown from another country. And then basically he owned them at that point. He would take their cell phones, he would put them to work on a webcam, and essentially, take their money. He would have their money sent to him essentially. And in some cases, I guess maybe all of them to some degree, was abusive to them. And it's not about finding him attractive, really. It's about a guy who is able to see the vulnerabilities of people who are very vulnerable and prey on those vulnerabilities in a pretty fucking sinister way. Yes, basically. Well, I mean, he lost because he got tired in the second round. That's why he lost. He lost because he fucking smokes cigars and doesn't exercise, and he didn't fucking train. That's why he lost. It's pretty clear.
And that he continued having sex with them while they were unconscious.
Kind of like crushing my windpipe until I lost consciousness. I completely lost consciousness, which I assume he knew because I probably would have been like limp. And then when I came back round again, it was just...
I just explained to you that it's not just about attraction. You need to stop doing this who would be attracted thing. That's actually pretty fucking gross to say about victims. You realize you're talking about victims when you say that. You're basically just saying, oh, I could never be a victim like that fucking piece of shit. Or like, change the way you're fucking at least talking about this in chat, but change the way you're thinking about it, because you're really being superficial about the whole thing. It's not like he just went, hey baby, I got some money, and then they were like, oh, okay. That's not what's going on, man. And yes, that's true. He was absolutely going through the same places. Tate abused a legal black hole, an economic black hole in Eastern European states. Own material deprivation to do, yeah.
Really, like, just confusion. He was still having sex with me.
Several of these women even sustained medical injuries, including burst blood vessels in their eyes.
One of the whites of my eyes had just gone completely red.
And apparently it's quite common in domestic abuse cases where there's been strangulation.
And there is, even according to the Romanian indictment, there's medical certificate. Lawrence Southern also claims that she went to the hospital and she has proof of this.
Lauren Southern, you know, huge piece of shit. Some shit happened to her that should not have happened.
The very telling thing about it all as well is that this is much of it before Tate had any of this fame that people are saying, or they're just trying to silence him because he's an influence on young men and all this, right? So these women, we went to the police, it's a fact, in 2014, 2015. No one knew who Andrew Tate was in 2014.
My friend who was living with Andrew as well, who we were webcamming together, she went to the police. The police had said to her, kind of, what do you expect if you were webcamming for him? Eventually, got a visit from 2 police officers. They came with a letter from the CPS. It basically said they are not going to prosecute.
This is probably 40% of the reason I moved to Romania, because in Eastern Europe, none of this garbage flies.
How that can be a conspiracy when these women have never even met each other, and it spans over a decade across multiple countries, the UK, Romania, and America, I don't know. To me, that speaks very, very loudly about someone who I believe is a predator.
Andrew Tate sent her text messages and voice notes about rape and sexual violence.
Am I a bad person? Because the more you didn't like it, the more I enjoyed it. I loved how much you hated it. Turned me on.
So his father, Andrew Tate's father, Emery, was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. He has talked about this, Andrew Tate has, and you know, he's like, oh, I don't have it though. And it's like, he clearly does. That's what makes someone like this. Narcissistic personality disorder, and then literally not having to, just never having to pay consequences for his actions. I mean, he is now. But yeah. And here's just 1 minute of him exposing himself here.
You and your brother made money from video chat studios?
No, that's not true at all. That's not true at all. I first became a multimillionaire by running a webcam studio.
How long ago was your webcam business?
Yeah, so I stopped having any involvement with it. I think 8 to 9 years ago I stopped. When Corona came, I scaled it back up, right? So I got 20 more girls online. We scaled that back up to $300,000 or $400,000 a month. So I got back into the game hard. But now we're coming towards the end of Corona. I'm going to keep like 5 or 6 of my main girls. I mean, what did I do? I helped some people organize some accounts on an internet website. That's what I did. I created a system that allowed me to convince girls to do this, allowed me to retain 100% control of their income. I know how to make sure the girl can't run away. I helped women with the tax side. Tax is also another important element for controlling your woman. You're not going to pay anybody tax, but you need to tell your girl that you're paying the tax. Is that my crime? Maybe I did love them. But we're not together anymore, so what? I pretended? Who said I pretended? Prove I pretended to love. And then what did I pretend to love them to achieve? I have to fuck her.
No, I don't think I did. Why are you asking? Oh, it is interesting that my shit... Hold on, let me check. I'm going to double check this. I'm realizing now that I'm not seeing this stuff in chat. So they had asked me to prove my identity, verify it, and I did all the stuff. Oh, and there goes my computer acting stupid. God damn it. 1 second. Hello. Am I... That's so fucking weird. Check, check, check. All right, good. I see that. Yeah, give me a minute. I'm gonna play this video and then I'm gonna investigate what's going on with that because that is frustrating, obviously. Here we go. Here's the Mark Ruffalo thing.
So, Mason, actor Mark Ruffalo, who is perhaps best known for portraying the Incredible Hulk in the Marvel movies, is currently
I know him
fighting
for 30 going on 30. What is it? 3 going on something? Something going on 30?
13 going on 30.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
That's another good one. I mean, he has tons of iconic roles. He's a fantastic actor. He is currently fighting back against a smear campaign coming from all kinds of different places, labeling him as anti Semitic because he has astutely and correctly called out what is happening involving the billionaire Ellison family, their planned Paramount Warner Brothers merger, and of course, Israel's genocide of Palestinians. So let's take a closer look at what has unfolded for Mark Ruffalo over the past 48 hours, which started with something as simple as his Instagram story. So a few days ago, Mark Ruffalo reshared a video to his Instagram story, and we're about to watch a little bit of this video and what he was specifically calling out. But to give some background, there is this tech company called Oracle, and Oracle provides a number of services to some of the biggest technology companies and governments around the world. And those services include things like cloud computing, data centers, and a whole host of other technological infrastructure. It was asked a question about how the company had responded to October 7th and everything that transpired. And in this
All right, this is pretty fucking upsetting, man. For whatever reason, they are not taking my documents for verification, and so they've paused fucking memberships again. I'm fucking livid. Yeah, I'm gonna go, man. I'm gonna get going, cause I gotta deal with this shit. I at least don't want to be on stream while I'm this pissed off. I won't be able to focus. Not that I'm good at focusing anyway. I apologize, guys. I keep fucking this keeps just oh, god damn it. It makes me fucking want to quit YouTube. I'll be honest with you. It makes me just want to quit. Yeah, my channel's not fucking doing great anyway. What do we got? Fucking 15 people watching. You know, clearly my fucking time is up on YouTube. Like I had my moment, and you know, the fucking stars are not aligned, or they are aligned against me, or some shit. This is why I don't need to be on stream, because when I get pissed off like this, I start saying shit that I don't necessarily mean, and I'm just like, you shouldn't be sorry for pointing it out, man. That's fucking stupid. Don't say that stupid shit, please. That's fucking stupid. That's not. Sorry. Yeah. You know what? I apologize. I don't need to be on stream right now. I needed to know that information. Don't be you know, feel bad for saying that, is what I'm saying. Okay. I'm not the kind of person that wants to have inconvenient truths hidden from him to fucking coddle his feelings. All right. So I would have figured it out probably before the end of the day. Maybe not. I don't know. Either way, I would have figured it out. If you're sorry for telling me, then I don't know. Go somewhere. Motherfucker, dude. All right. Yeah, y'all have a good night, man. Take it easy.